Let's get back into it, man. Yesterday was real fun for us. Harvey, I mean, playoffs. I mean, we had to look into the playoffs, man. I mean, it's already that part of that time of the year, and this game is getting really important for us.
It is. I think Jerry talked about it as well on the fan about how even everybody is kind of still, everybody's kind of still in it for the most part. So I'm glad we got to take a look at that and let our fans and nation know that, hey man, this is still gonna go all the way down to the wire. But we got to take care of business. We got to take care of business at Minnesota. That's what it comes down to. We got to look forward, but we'll see, man. It's going to be a tough game. There's some injury reports and stuff coming out. We'll see who we're going to have and who we're not going to have, but it's going to be a fun one on Sunday for sure.
Yeah, and interesting news, right? I mean, it's kind of a well, yesterday we're right about to end the show, and Alex Lopez, shout out to you for breaking the news right to us. I mean, literally, like right when we're finishing up the show, Cowboys signed wide receiver, and we immediately turned our attention, and yes, it's true. They signed Antonio Galloway to the practice squad. He is known for his speed. He's still relatively young in the NFL. I believe he's 25 years old, and he was considered at one time. He had the potential of being, second, third round, but he ended up being a fourth rounder because just like anything that happens. I mean, he made a couple mistakes in college and whatnot, but you know, he had his moments with the Browns. Of course, his situation with the Browns, it was in a clear path. There's a lot going on when he was coming into the league, but he did make some splashy plays, and there was also an addition, Tack McKinley, former first round defensive end out of UCLA. He was actually drafted by the Falcons during Dan Quinn's era as head coach. I believe he's coming off a torn Achilles tendon. That's why it took him a while to get signed. So interesting additions. Lots to talk about. Let's get right into it. And I'm gonna ask you straight. I'm just gonna go straight for it. Does that mean no Odell Beckham Jr. for the Dallas Cowboys?
I'm hoping that it's a no, that we're still in the running,
Okay.
but I don't know. It's interesting because 2 days ago, I believe it came out. I don't know if it's true or not, but he's demanding 20 million a year minimum. That's a lot. That's a lot for having two injuries the way he had them. I don't know if anybody's gonna pay that kind of money. So 2 days ago, and then yesterday they signed Callaway. So it's kind of, I don't know. Is it too much, or they're like, hey, we're gonna go after a receiver. At least we get one. But what's interesting to me is it's not just a regular receiver they went after. They went after a speedster. This guy is fast. So it's interesting because in past, conversations we've had, we've talked about that. We need a guy that's going to blow the top off of this defense, somebody that can go deep, stretch the defense. That's what we've been talking about. We have Turpin, but now we have another speedster that's really fast. So I don't know. I don't. Is that a telltale sign? I don't know. I guess we'll see at the end of November, maybe beginning of December. But I think the Cowboys are getting impatient. They're like, we want somebody that's going to, make a difference. And he's very fast, and he's got to be accounted for sure. But we'll see, man. I don't know.
Let me go ahead and help you out there too, right? Because we still have James Washington, who he's coming back from his injury pretty soon too. So we're gonna have some more decisions as far as what the Cowboys decide to do. Yesterday, like I said, there's a little bit of smoke going on with Jason Peters. Apparently, he's being moved back to left tackle, and I hinted, hey, does that mean we're going to see Tyler Smith at left guard? And I know both ways. I've heard, man, our community is strong. It's awesome, and man, they're like, they're right there with us. A step ahead of the media, of the narrative that's going around. And somebody said, how are you going to play Tyler Smith at left guard if he couldn't even beat out McGovern, right? And that's a great question. But I think that Tyler Smith has shown you with his play and his ability that, he could be explosive and he could be one of the first ones off. And, who knows? Maybe he could be that phone booth type of guy that we need for the next 10, 15 years, well, not 15, but at least 10 years, give us a Zach Martin type left guard. And hey, man, I mean, obviously Stephen Jones and Will McClay have done a tremendous job as far as adding acquisitions, whether through the draft or, these little minor signings. Um, the one that's kind of curious to me is the Tack McKinley one. I mean, we already said it. We need to stop the run and we need to get our running game going. These two signings do not look like they're helping either one.
You know what, Jerry? What's interesting is that I'm trying to remember what podcast. I didn't know what podcast I was watching, but he had an interesting take. He said, "We need linebackers that are going to hit the hole or hit the guard or stop the guard." Right? And we go, hey, Van Der Esch is doing great. He has all these tackles, but where is he making the tackles? Down the field.
Yeah, 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. At
So
minimum.
I mean, I don't know, you know. So it made me think of maybe McKinley's that type of guy that just doesn't. I saw a little bit of his highlights. He doesn't care. He's the type that it would just go in through the line, pass rush, has no, you know, basically respect for his body type of player. So I don't know. Maybe we need that kind of player, in the defense. But we'll see. I see there's nonstop comments there, Jerry.
Yep. So Jason Peters is on the clock depending on Tyron Smith, man. I mean, look, that's what I'm saying. I mean, could he be like, let's just say, and these are all hypotheticals. Jason Peters, get that left tackle spot, kind of keep the seat warm to say, right? And get Tyler Smith, kind of get him in the motion of understanding the left guard position. And then one of those things, test out Tyron Smith, see if he doesn't have any setbacks. Because if he has a setback, well, then luckily we have Jason Peters to rely on. See, these are all great problems that any NFL team would wish they had right now, especially during this time of the year. So, should the Cowboys consider moving Parsons to middle linebacker? Ooh, man. I think we saw he played 47 snaps in this last game against the Packers. Last time he played that amount was in last season against the Saints. He played 50 snaps at Mike. So I don't know. I mean, I think at this point, he did such a great job at Penn State being a linebacker, but we could hear and we can see his play. We can hear him when he talks about playing the edge, how emotional he gets about talking about playing edge, and we see the impact when he plays the edge. What do you think, Harvey?
I don't, that makes kind of a little bit of sense, right? What if we move Demarcus Ware inside or Demarcus Lawrence? I'm sorry, Demarcus Ware, Demarcus
Yeah.
Lawrence inside, right? And then we have Tack McKinley on the outside with Sam Williams.
I like it, man. It kind of feels
Yeah,
like you're saying, like make it a little bit more fast and furious. You're saying as far as
yeah.
make sure we're collapsing the pocket with the players that we have. Yeah, D Law is on the he's always been the one to set the edge up for, especially for running, running plays. So, I think with Sam Williams, I think he gives you that ability, right? That he gives you that ability to, I mean, we've seen him. He's knocking offensive linemen off of their, he putting them on skates. He's backing them up into each other. I mean, he's literally stopping running backs. So it'd be interesting to see. Maybe they are trying to transition maybe Sam Williams into a defensive tackle position. Maybe that three technique. Most importantly, I will say this: seeing Sam Williams in the offseason, especially after the Cowboys draft somebody, that's when you start doing all the film study, and that's why I hope after the season, I hope you guys always tune in, man, because you know what? It's not going to stop, man. I mean, there's free agency, and then of course there's the draft, and then of course breaking down each player that we get, right? Because I mean, after the draft, it doesn't matter what we want. Willie, hey, shout out to Dibs and Ribs, guys. Oh, if you guys
Ribs
are,
and ribs, baby.
yeah, Dibs and Ribs, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, they do have a cup, man. It is bomb, man. I am not lying to you. If you want a brisket. Man, they layer it. It's rice, beans, potato salad, pico de gallo, a little bit of sausage, and boom, whatever you want. Either chicken. If you want chicken, they have beef or they have pork. Man, it's legit, man. It's like Man, go catch him at the local food truck here in the RGV. If you're tuning in from the RGV, of course. Man, dibs and ribs. Shout out. Thank you. But yeah, man, getting back on subject, I mean, that's the great thing about having somebody like Will McClay, right? He finds the players that will help out the offensive coordinator run, the either the offense or the defense, and then it's up to the coordinators to do the rest, right? In that case, Dan Quinn, he had a good start, man, but damn, I mean, all I hear is people just I mean, they're literally drilling him for allowing it. Not only that, man, but we have buddies of from long time that will say how bad the Cowboys are at stopping the run, and it does get a little bit frustrating and irritating. I can only imagine at that level. I'm pretty sure they're pretty much addressing that right now. So I will say this: Tack actually had his best years under Dan Quinn. Uh, Dante Fowler also had his best years under Dan Quinn. And we've seen Dante Fowler actually make some good moves too, some splashy plays. So I expect. I don't know how ready Tech will be, but just the thought of being able to add a tack that's ready to go right now, that is something fun, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. That year, I believe we're looking for an edge rusher in that draft class. I believe Tack Tack went right before our actual draft selection. Would you start Hankins and Bohanna to clog the middle? Man, that's the way. I think yes, man. Bohanna has showed us a different side this season. Man, he's taking that leap, almost like kind of like what Terrence Steele did, like from one year to the other. Like it was just like night and day
It
as far
was.
as level of play. Well, Hannah's done that, and Hankins. I mean, he's the ultimate pro. I mean, he was a former second rounder, the type of guy you'd if you have a predominant 3-4. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what you'd want at your zero technique. So I mean, imagine that being able to have that mixture of two big body guys and just stick them in there. But the thing is man, how many snaps are they gonna play, man? Because with our offense, our defense is not able to get the rest.
Uh, So I believe in those two players along, like I said, with Demarcus Lawrence, them three in the middle, and then you put Sam Williams and Tack McKinley on the outside with Micah in the middle. Man, I think you've kind of solved your problem a little bit, especially on first and second down where most teams want to, run the ball. But we'll see. Only time will tell. They're making some moves though. That just tells you that they are thinking about and game planning. But on the interviews, it was I was curious to see what the players were going to say, and Kerr said a really good thing. He said, with all these playmakers on the defense, do we want to make the big play so much that we get out of position
Ooh, I saw.
and not do our job? That's interesting. That could be everybody just wants to get a sack. They want to get an interception, but they're not solely doing their specific job where they get out of line or alignment or space, whatever it is, and now you got to run up the middle for 30, 40 yards or whatever. So it's interesting, Jerry.
Yeah, Javier, are we talking about a bear front? Ooh, hey,
Yes.
you talking about the old school Bears?
That's what I'm talking about. Why not? We got Trayvon Diggs, right?
Yeah.
You're the best corner in the league.
If
Lock him down.
Aaron Rodgers did not throw his side. And you know what?
No,
All the media will not talk about that. And you know what? All the Cowboy haters do not even talk about how nobody is throwing towards Trayvon Diggs. But wait, let Trayvon Diggs give up a touchdown, and all the haters come out and all that stuff. But where were you, this week? Why don't you say, you know what? Look at that. What a phenomenal job that Diggs does for you on one side of the field that Aaron Rodgers knows that he has to throw it to whoever, right? Aaron, Anthony Brown and Calvin Joseph and Deron Bland. Yeah, we know their names, but we're still upset with them. Uh Alex, do we take Will McClay for granted? Imagine if we had a top 5 coach. What could we what could we do with the roster the past the few years? Things that make you go, I don't think we take him for granted anymore, man. Uh,
no.
we've seen the last 2 years they've been trying to pry him away and make him a general manager. I think the Dolphins make the biggest push for him, and the Joneses shut it down real quick. I think right now, I think the Joneses know that they have the right formula. When it looks at when I me and you, Harvey, we've had this conversation about Will McClay. We've said, yeah, I think he has it made at where he's at because they give him I believe the way it was explained to us, first round goes to Jerry Jones, but based off Will McClay's board and who he says would be a player of superstar status, the guy that sells the jerseys. Second round is more of a gritty player, and that goes to Steven Jones. And if there's another second round that actually goes that defaults, like let's just say the Cowboys were able to get a second round because they traded a player or whatever from draft capital from previous years. So anything that's beyond the first second round pick, it defaults to Will McClay, and from there Will McClay takes over. Now, has he hit home runs on every selection? No, but not there's really nobody out there that has, right? And the only reason I say that because some people they'll point out right away, Nashawn Wright is a third round pick. Where's he at? I mean, it's a great question, man. I mean, he has all the height and the measurables that you that the NFL is looking for in a corner, right? They're looking for that lengthy corner. They want the arms to be a certain length because working in that not Tampa, but in that cover three, right? Well, let's just say this. What was it called? The Seahawks, the Legion of Boom defense, right?
Yep.
I
It was
think
a lot of cover three.
it's cover three, but if you look at it, Richard Sherman had very unique set skill, right? And he had very long arms. And the thing with him, with the long arms, with corners and the effect and the reason why it's so loved right now in the NFL is because they say the best way to stop a backside shoulder fade is the long arms, man. That's the only line of
Yep.
defense that a corner has is just being able to get his tips on it. So we saw that a lot with Richard Sherman in his days with the Seahawks and the Legion of Boom. So that's kind of what my reference point was. Um, uh, so we had Kendall on yesterday, and Ramiro right here. Time for Diggs to shadow Jefferson. We had Kendall on. What did Kendall say yesterday, Harvey, about Trayvon Diggs'
Uh,
lineup against? He said how Trayvon Diggs did a phenomenal job against Justin Jefferson in last year matchup, and people don't want to talk about that stuff either because I mean, they don't. People are very selective when they can hate on the Cowboys, right? And it's only on anytime we fall, but you never hear it when we win, man. When we hit when we win, it's zip. It's quiet, man. It's real. It's a real thing, man. It's crazy, man. But the one moment we lose, man, it's going crazy. Man, my cousin he commented on my post that he said it straightforward. I bet you $1,000 the Cowboys won't make it to the Super Bowl. It's like, hold on a minute, man. And don't make me. I'll just go over there and slap you over your head. Yeah, I mean, that's a silly bet to take on now. If we're in the conference championship, yeah, I'll take a bet like that on. I'll bank on my team if we're in the conference championship. But right now, it's too early to be making any kind of bet like that. So that just tells me you don't watch football at all. So I'm sorry. But let's just talk about that for a moment because Trayvon Diggs has predominantly played on one side of the field, but we did see him line up a little bit on both sides this last matchup. I didn't see that.
yes.
I didn't see too many of his struggles. Did you?
No, I didn't, but I think, for the comment, it's time for Diggs to shadow Jefferson. I totally agree with it. Because this is the thing. Come time to pay Trayvon Diggs, if you don't test him in order to pay him the big money he's gonna want as a corner in the NFL, did you really test him?
Ooh.
So that's the thing for me. I want to see if you're gonna be worth the money down the line. And if you are, I will pay you that money. But if I don't put you in the position to see that I can see, hey, you know what? I'm going to pay you however much amount the top corner is in the NFL. Follow Jefferson. Show me that you're worth that money. That's what I would say. But to go back, Jerry, do we take Will McClay for granted? Because I wanted to answer that question.
Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
We we don't take Will McClay for granted. I don't think, right?
Not the
But
fact.
I know one person that surely does not, and that's the person that pays Will McClay, and that's Jerry Jones. Because I'll tell you what, you're right. A lot of people had tried to pull him to go to the organization, and I'm sure Jerry took out his pocketbook and his pen and wrote down probably a blank check for Will McClay because he's that important to this organization, and Jerry knows it. So to me, I don't think we've taken for granted. Top five coach, if we had one, we'd win two Super Bowls for sure.
Wow, that's bank. Take that to the bank. Wow. Okay. Great, man. But we just to kind of go a little bit deeper dive on that one. We were saying, look at the position he's in, though, man. That I mean, that's a great job because he's never going to be under that heat or duress. And the one that is going to answer the bill is going to be Jerry Jones, man. And the one that's always picking up the bill is Jerry Jones. And all he has to do is sit back and just work with with his recruiting team, and that's all he does, man. And you know what? He gets to sit at the table with the Joneses, and I mean, there's no better feeling, man. I mean, he's gonna get that championship ring. It's not win; it's only a matter of time. You know what I'm saying? It's not that we're never gonna get it. It's only gonna take. It's just gonna take the right momentum to get this team in the right direction. I think when yesterday I asked Kendall, how do you feel about our roster head to toe? I mean, and he said it too. It was complete. One of the most complete rosters in the entire NFL. That is great, man. And he is a Patriot. That Kendall is a Patriots fan. Who is the head coach for the New England Patriots? Bill Belichick. Who's in charge for all those championships and constructing those teams for those championships? Bill Belichick. So he understands about team building. He understands it. He's fascinated with it just as much as we are. And look at Will McClay, great position that he's in. And I will say this: if you give me a champagne right now, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. If you give me champagne right now with his roster, man, I'm pretty sure that our record would be a lot different looking than what it is right now.
I agree.
I mean,
100% I agree.
it doesn't take and it doesn't take a Dan Quinn to get this defense going in the right direction. I think Will McClay has done a tremendous job as far as putting it together. But I will say this: these Vikings, man, they're a pesky team. We got to be careful with them. Right now, the injury report actually does show Justin Jefferson. Right now, he was limited in practice today with a toe injury. Now we already know, man, toe and foot, those are not good injuries. I'm
It's
not
not.
saying like, oh my gosh, this and that, but I will say this. I mean, for Cowboys, I mean, it's a very unique situation to be in if that would slow down Jefferson, but Jefferson looks like he's playing at the highest level right now at wide receiver. I mean, I don't know if anybody's chiming in right now wants to say anything about what you guys think about Justin Jefferson. It's okay. This is our therapeutic time to get it off our shoulders. If you think that he's better than CD, it's okay. I'm ready for that heartbreak, okay? Uh but we do have a clip, and we do have a clip that we want to bring in, and they're asking coach Mike McCarthy about um Ezekiel Elliott, our running back. So let's go ahead and turn over to the clip real quick.
Through, but what do you anticipate from Zeke today, and how does 2 games in 4 days impact his ability?
I mean, we're really, focusing on all the guys coming out of this last week's game to, come back and work today. So, Zeke will be part of it today.
And the 2 games in 4 days, does that play whether he goes this week?
If he's ready to play this week, we're going to play him.
Whoa. If he's ready, we are going to play Zeke. RV, I know you said let's save him to, you know what? rest him. Let him enjoy his Thanksgiving. But I mean, at this point, do we have that luxury because of the way the seeding is falling as far as the playoffs?
So, interesting question that you bring up because about Zeke. Um, One of my good friends, shout out to James Fowler. He's gonna probably be like, I'm gonna give you a shout out. But he sent me something very interesting, Jerry. He said, there's facts. Dak shouldn't throw the ball more than 40 times a game.
Okay.
The Cowboys need to rely on the run game. He is not a Cowboys fan.
Okay. Even better.
So check this out. Dak or Zeke did miss one game, got it. He has 109 attempts for 443 yards and 4 touchdowns. It's an average of 4.1 a carry, right? Pollard, 103 attempts, 621 yards, 6 touchdowns, a 6.0 average. So 6 less attempts and 178 more yards. 6 less attempts and 178 yards more. So he
The
did
four,
say Zeke does block better,
way better.
right? So he's a tough runner, got it. But in order for you to win, Pollard's probably the man. And I kind of agree with him. But there's also a but to that because Zeke punishes people.
He does.
So when you punish people in the NFL because you go so fast, at the end of the game, you're not the same player.
No.
And neither is Zeke as he's getting older, right? But why not have Zeke as the closer? Just like baseball. You have Pollard, hitting the whole hard home runs, and then you bring Zeke in just to pound him and get him tired at the end of the game.
Yeah. I mean, that right there, that shows that's the type of individual that I would like to have a genuine discourse with. A non-Cowboys fan. They have their own team, but they actually respect for respect. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing to tell me that oh, post these memes, and some of them are funny, man. I'm not gonna lie, you have me laughing with them, but some get out of control, man. But I have one thing to say about that, and to anybody that has those memes, and it's simple.
Basically, fuck them.
So getting back on subject, man. Cowboys news. I think, like you said, your friend brought it out. Like you said, I think the game plan is go ahead and bring if he's ready, he knows his body. Last week we heard him in his own words say he doesn't know if he's gonna play. He wasn't really feeling it. Hey man, hats off to him for speaking up and preserving himself. Uh, and if he's ready to go and he's gonna play, then that's good. If they can have that balance of 15-15, 30 carries, I think that's good. That means that we didn't overdo Zeke with 20 plus carries because he's always been that 20 plus carry kind of guy for us. But as this season we start to round off the end of this season, this year, you know, who doesn't want to see their team in the Super Bowl? Who doesn't want to see, the players that are on their team, especially Dak and Zeke. They've been a great duo. They built a friendship. I believe they're best friends. Their jersey numbers are the area code, which is a very unique way of playing right ball out there. But I mean, aside from that, what do we do after this year? Because there's already chatter that Zeke is not returning to the Cowboys next year.
I think that
And
have, I
and
think
and this is Tony Pollard's last year on his rookie year contract too.
at bare minimum, I say Zeke, hey, just take a pay cut, man. Can you still stay with us and take a pay cut? But the NFL is a business. I think it also comes down to who's the Dallas Cowboys going to draft. Will they draft a running back?
I mean,
Because if they
there
do,
there is one out there. But it's too early, man. We can't be talking about this stuff right now.
But anyways, yeah, we can talk about it later. But I'm just saying, I'm gonna go with because I see the comment already. Minnesota's gonna be a physical game. This is a Zeke game. And I said that before, Jerry. Let's save him for Minnesota.
You
Because
did
they
say
are so physical. They're so physical, man. You need to match that. You need to match physical with physicalness. That's just the way this game is gonna be. But yeah, I mean, Davis did look good. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I like
That's
I like it, man. You bring that fire, bro. Let them both go. Davis looks good, man. I mean, RB, I think you were talking about it, right? That this is a guy that you felt that we should have drafted. And you said that as the draft kind of unfolded, he didn't get selected, and when you got the news that they were able to sign him, right? He went undrafted, and the Cowboys were able to sign him. That you were excited about this signing.
I
So, I mean,
was.
what is it about Malik Davis that could carve a future role with the Dallas Cowboys?
So straight line, he's not a straight line runner. He's not gonna, amaze you with great speed. But the way he uses his blockers and he has patience and he moves left, right, makes a cut, he gets yards. It's crazy. It's like he has a natural feel for the game and running the ball down the middle. I mean, you guys seen it, 7.6 yards a carry. Like it's natural for him to see how the holes are going to open, when they're going to open, kind of like a running back we kind of know named Emmett Smith. But anyways, like it's just natural for him. So I feel that's why I thought he would be a great pickup.
I'm sorry, I don't know how I missed this one, but honestly, Minnesota is going to be physical game. This is a Zeke game. So, like you said, Emmett Smith was our closer, man, and he did a great job. And I think Jimmy Johnson really instilled that in his offensive coordinators and offensive coordinators. And I'm pretty sure, the Barry Switzer who inherited the team and then he left. I mean, they all knew, hey, just give it to Emmett and let him finish it out. And it was never a
Yep.
question of doubt either when Emmett got it. I mean, he was out there pushing. He was anytime it looked negative, he was pushing forward positive for
Yep.
positive yards. He was getting the tough yards. I mean, look at him. He went off and became, the rushing king, the NFL, which is probably like, I think at this point it looks like nobody's ever going to be able to touch that thing. I mean, the closest thing was Frank Gore, but look at all the teams Frank Gore. I mean, I think the only team he didn't sign was with the Dallas Cowboys. But at one point we thought Adrian Peterson could get there, but I mean, not even Adrian Peterson could get there. So it just shows you how special the Cowboys were in the '90s. So that's why you guys got to forgive us, us '90 babies, and 80 babies, 90 babies, and even 70 babies. All the love out there, man. To 2000 babies too that love the Cowboys as passionately as we do, man. But obviously, we know Minnesota is tough. And if we can get that balance right, don't have Dak, of course. We already said this. It feels like a broken record at this point. Why? I mean, but that's my question is why 46 times? Like, what was Kellen Moore trying to prove, I'll go back to Kellen Moore. He is the one non-player to help Dallas D. He is the one non-player to help the Dallas. Hmm.
Yeah, it makes sense. So I think what he might be saying is he tries to score so quick that the defense gets back on offense, and then when he doesn't move down the field, it's a quick three and out.
Mm.
So he's not being very methodical, unless I read the question wrong. But I think that's what he's trying to say.
Oh yeah, it makes sense. He's the only one that's not really helping the Dallas Cowboys defense.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. Because if you still
You're
have
right.
to help your defense, let's get methodical here. Let's run the ball slowly, dink and dump, whatever it is, score, and let the defense stop them, come back, and do methodical drives again. He's trying to score so quick, which is great, but sometimes it's so quick that he goes three and out really fast, and then the defense is back on the field. So we
Yeah,
got to have that balance.
that those days are over though here in the NFL. I mean, I think almost every NFL team is kind of transitioning to having running a game that is very tailored to rushing the ball more and in fact balancing. I mean, shoot, let's look at Aaron Rodgers. He was 14 of 20. He didn't go past 20, and they deliberately ran right at Michael Parsons because they saw that Eagles had a lot of success running right at Micah, right? So obviously that's where Dan Quinn. Obviously, we're hearing him say all the right stuff. We're hearing the coaching staff saying all the right stuff. Um, but I think coming tomorrow we will have the actual breakdowns for you, as far as the percentage, right? The actual percentages of uh targeted towards Justin Jefferson, and then who's after Justin Jefferson, because I mean Dalvin Cook is obviously the lead back there. The crazy thing about Dalvin Cook is his shoulder pops out, and it happens during the game, and they have to
Yep.
pop it back into place. And if they can't pop it into place, he'll be out of the game. So I mean, you're talking about a game of inches. I mean, we're talking about right now. You're talking about an NFL that's really banged up. A lot of the NFL teams are currently banged up, and right now, it's actually a luxury for the Cowboys to have players that are coming back healthy right now, and then the players that are a little bit banged up, they're able to rotate them in and out. So, I think right now the game plan is easy. I don't think it takes a rocket science to figure it out, but a healthy dose of Zeke, Tony Pollard, you know, get CeeDee Lamb, get Dalton Schultz involved, and then see who wants to step up and be the third pass catcher, right? At this point, because I don't think there's a true number two wide receiver. I mean, I'm not saying that Michael Gallup stinks. I'm just saying I think Michael Gallup is not quite 100% right now, because when we go back and you look at that play that he missed that ball, he makes that catch every season that we've seen him. I'm saying before the injury.
Yeah.
So obviously the injury is really holding him down right now.
So Jerry, I kind of got a question, right? That's kind of make. I've been thinking about it lately in the past couple of weeks. Is the NFL going to a running game now? How long has it been since you've seen this many teams run for over 200 yards?
Been
It's
a
a
while.
lot. It's a lot. The Colts did it. I don't know if the Commanders do it the other night against the Eagles. I'm not sure, but the Bears have done it. So I'm kind of interested, right? And now it's making me think. Everybody was preparing for the pass, right? So they're getting all these speedy linebackers, the Leonard from Colts, Michael Parsons, all these fast twitch linebackers that are a little bit undersized. So is the NFL transitioning to, you know what? Because if you notice, these guys are not going through blocks, they're going around blocks, which is creating cutbacks. So is that what's happening in the NFL?
I think so. I mean, no, it's not. I think so. It's a yes, because let's go ahead and look back at because so many people want to hate on Dak, right?
It's my quarterback.
Let's forget that. But I will say this, a year ago we had some quarterbacks come out of the draft. Well, no, I'm saying 2 years ago, right? Uh, Wait, was it last year? Jesus, I'm already losing track of time. That's bad. But no, the year that Trevor Lawrence came out. Look at Trevor Lawrence. Look at Justin Fields. Trey Lance. I don't know. We can kind of put him in there because he's not. Well, let's put Trey Lance in there because he got drafted that year. And Mac Jones. But look at those stream of quarterbacks. All of them were very highly, sought out. Everybody wanted a quarterback, and you know what? Right now, for the majority of those names that I just mentioned, a lot of those are playing quarterback right now for a team, and a lot of teams are building around them. And if you look at it, they're incorporating these running backs to start rushing the ball, and they had design plays for them too. So let's take for instance the Jets. They got Zach Wilson, and
Yeah.
Zach Wilson actually has design plays for him to get out and use his feet. I mean, they lost him. Heck, they lost him at the beginning of the season with the I don't know, with a non-contact injury. Just it just looked like if a snake bit him almost, But getting back on subject, if you look at Trevor Lawrence will have like 3 to 5 plays that are designed for him to roll out and rush. So yeah, when you start seeing quarterbacks being rushed that you normally would think would just be passers. I mean, I even seen Mac Jones even rush the ball, but I mean, Mac Jones is not quite as as agile or athletic as these other quarterbacks. But look at, I mean, shoot, look how good. I mean, let's look at how good Justin Fields look. I mean, I think he almost had like 200 yards rushing himself. But look at what it does, right? When you have a quarterback that can have you have a quarterback that has success with the design rushing plays that they have for him, it opens up the lanes for the running back. It just works hand in hand. Harvey, that's one thing that my cousin said about you playing football. I would like to hear your 2 cents about it playing quarterback and
No, I think it does. It opens up a different dynamic for sure. You can run, the option. You can run a read. So it kind of, and I like the Eagles did to the Cowboys, right? Unfortunately, but it just creates a different dynamic for everybody because now everybody has to be responsible for somebody. And if that person is not responsible for that person, you could see a touchdown or a lot of yards being ran on. So I think the NFL is starting to figure out that they're taking advantage of these undersized linebackers because these linebackers not going through these blocks. We had the Brian Urlachers, we had the Derek Brooks, we had all those big guys that would go through the blocks and make the tackle. These guys are going around. So when you go around, you're creating a cutback. And I don't know, we have to look at the statistics to see how many 200-yard rushes there are last year compared to this year. But I think the NFL is trying to catch up. I think they're looking at that, and we'll see, I guess, as time goes on. But I think that's becoming a big thing, over 200 yards every game. But we'll see, Jerry. I don't know.
well, I mean, shoot. I mean, it's been a while, but I mean, looks like Tony Pollard could get that on his own sometimes. And,
Yeah,
and when he
yeah.
does, and when he does, we look good. I mean, last week he had a great game, but shoot, I mean, it just looked like at the very end, it looked like they said, okay, he got 150 yards rushing and a touchdown. Let's go ahead and set him out. Let's get everybody the ball. Let's get everybody involved. But wrong approach. If that's the approach that Kellen Moore took, then he's not gonna last very long. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna take him. It's not gonna take the Joneses very long to move on. As it is, I think that Joneses have a very close relationship with Sean Payton from what we've been reading up on, and I'll tell you this, man, it's Super Bowl every year, especially with that kind of roster that they have constructed, that Will McClay has helped the Cowboys construct, especially. So, lots more to come. But I mean, right now it looks like the Cowboys definitely are making the moves right now to make that late push. And like I said, we're gonna get some players back healthy, and we'll see. These are all, like I said, great problems, man. And I think that's why it makes the haters hate even more. But any last minute words?
All I gotta say, man, is I'm excited. Can't wait. Hey, don't forget about the hat giveaway, the cap giveaway. Don't forget about that, man. Subscribe to the channel, YouTube, whatever you can do, man. Yep, there we go. But no, Jerry, it's been great so far. I appreciate everybody's love for sure, man. Y'all have shown us so much love. We appreciate it. That's all I got. Just keep it real, everybody.
Yeah, man. And just like you said, perfectly said, Harvey. Hey, all social media is the Cowboy Cast. I mean, if you can't catch the snips on the Facebook Reels, or we have an Instagram too, believe it or not, the Cowboy Cast. But yeah, if you like TikTok, you can catch the Reels on TikTok. Man, we have so much fun on there. But check it out. But thank you all so much, and stay tuned. We'll be back on tomorrow, man.